Alright, this video should serve as a pretty good tutorial on how to rig meshes for session. First thing you're going to want to do is get your armature and something to get scale off of. So rename this armature to armature. Then I'll get something to scale off of as well. That'll be good enough. And you will need a plugin to import PSKs. And you gotta go find the mesh that you're trying to use. Then get to have fun scaling it, making it look right. It doesn't need to be perfect, but getting it as close as possible is always nice. Pretty much just try to get it to fit the skater's foot here and not be too big at the same time. This one's being kind of a pain. It'll be good enough. Then once you have this one located, you can pretty much copy all this stuff. Some of them you'll have to make positive since it's a different rotation. Right. That probably won't be perfect. You'll probably have to adjust it from there, but it'll get you close enough. I think that looks good. Then when it comes to doing the weights for it, let's make sure it has none. You can actually join these now. I like to just take the weights from the in-game shoes because they're honestly good enough. So select the in-game shoe first and then your mesh, go into weight paint, transfer weights. Then I always find this option to do best. Do by name, all layers, and then it should bring all the weights over that you'll need. And most of the time for shoes, just doing this is good enough. You don't have to do anything else. But for like pants or something, you'll probably have to adjust it a little bit to make it so it doesn't stretch or anything like that. The next thing you want to do is scale your armature. Scale it to 100, then apply your transforms, and then scale it back down to 0.01. And then it'll be correct scale for when you bring it into the game. Another good thing to do is to set your mat ID for the shoes right away instead of messing with it later, which you can do just by naming your material, mat ID shoes, or if it's pants, it'd be mat ID clothes. Actually gonna adjust this one a little bit more. That's good enough. Then export it. Doesn't really matter where. Just gonna put it in here. Make sure you got selected objects only and select your armature and shoe whenever you go to export. We can go over to Unreal, and if you have your project already set up, you can take it where it needs to go. Don't need these anymore. And I'm gonna make it replace the trooper. It's starting to seem like I exported it wrong. Oh, I didn't apply my armature. It's always a big. Don't want to fuck that one up. Right. Now we should be ready to import. There we go. And for this, just set the top one to whatever skeleton, whatever character you're doing it to. AMXX would be male, and AFXX would be female. This one too. I can see it in game, or not in game, but in engine at least. Then I want to go ahead and set up the materials for it as well. I'm just gonna put that there. Your textures for it, it doesn't really matter where they go. I just like putting them in here, making a new folder. Doesn't need to be name anything specific. Drag them all in. drag your mask, normal, and one of your base colors in to your material. And then you can start hooking them up. And for this mask, this one is from Skater XL, so you gotta hook it up a little bit differently. Normally it would be red ambient occlusion, green roughness, blue metallic, but since it's from XL, it is blue ambient occlusion, green metallic, red roughness. And I like to always change this to be a mask. Just so I can make sure sRGB's not on. Then go in where your material is. Oh, actually you should convert all these to parameters right now. It'll make it easier to make instance materials out of them. So you want to right click on it, create instance material, give it the name of the next one, and then come under base color and choose another color for it. And then you pretty much just keep doing that until you run out of ones to replace. That's what I'm on, isn't it? So hard to tell. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Alright. And once you have all your materials created, you're going to want to go back over to your mesh. That's going to need the right name as well. Then if you didn't set the mat ID before, you can set it right here. Then you just want to go find one of your materials, apply it on there. Make sure it looks good. I always like to do double-sided on the materials. You only need to do it on the very first one because they're all instances off of that one, so now they should all be double-sided. Those look the same. Oh, they're not. Okay. Now they should be ready to cook for the game. Then you're going to want to go where you have your project saved at. Go to saved, cooked. Keep going, and then you'll reach your customization folder. And then just, I have a bunch of stuff in here, so I always have to delete stuff that I'm not going to be on or end up using when it's all done. Then I always like to zip the customization folder itself, just in case. Because I've had issues just zipping the internal folders before. Let's go test it. Make sure I didn't mess anything up here. Yeah. You can see they're working just fine.